My guest tonight, Nicolle Wallace, has seen it all in politics. She worked for the George W. Bush White House. She worked for Jeb Bush as press secretary of the state of Florida. And perhaps most importantly, she was Sarah Palin's handler in the 2008 presidential campaign, for which she gets combat pay. Ladies and gentlemen, Nicolle Wallace! Yeah.
Very funny. How'd you get beat by a page?
No, I won.
No.
I don't know. Pages are required to know these things.
Yeah. Well, so are you. You are an anchor.
No.
Yeah.
Anybody but myself, we all know that. So let me ask you a very simple question about the 2016 presidential campaign. What the fuck? What is going on right now?
You know, if you had told me that someone could come along and make Sarah Palin look like qualified, you know, or like a stateswoman, you know, like
yeah.
I mean, if Sarah Palin had said she gets all of her, Trump said he gets all of his military advice from Willie shows. So if Sarah Palin had said that, I would have like picked up the red phone. I mean, it's crazy.
So, is there any chance, put these people's minds at ease, that Donald Trump is not the Republican nominee for president?
No.
There's no chance he's not.
The nominee?
Yeah.
No.
So he is it? This is it?
I mean, I think so.
Wow. Are you scared as a Republican?
I'm just scared as a human. I'm just scared.
I love you for that. That's why I'm like attracted to you.
As someone who's been inside these campaigns, though, what do you? Okay.
The inside is sort of a strong word.
No. You've been deep inside these campaigns, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you thinking? You're looking at Donald Trump. Nothing he says matters.
Right.
There's no accountability for not saying the facts or not making policy. It's a totally different thing.
I'm thinking like I wish I worked on that campaign.
Well, on that campaign.
Right? I mean, people were so mad at Bush for that stuff, but like compared to Trump, you know. I mean,
right.
I mean, he's, you know,
but what
like the Pope. But even the Pope isn't the Pope with Donald Trump.
Nope.
I mean, it's really a crazy election. And in all seriousness, you know, it's sort of like this hangover from everything that people are pissed about. But instead of like going for something that would make it better, I mean, I actually think that Bernie Sanders is a more logical kind of antidote to everything people are mad about. He like, but really, like just as a political figure, like he never had a job except activism and politics. Like everyone in Washington has too much money to understand what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. Bernie Sanders has never changed a position on anything to his detriment. Bernie Sanders is losing because he's not playing as dirty as the Clinton machine.
Right.
And that to me seems like the kind of guy that would solve all the stuff we're mad about. Not a billionaire that's been married a bunch of times, who like shits on everybody and wants to, you know, make America great again by just telling everyone how huge and awesome it's going to be. It really, yeah, it's just really, I get the anger, like, and I feel like the people I've worked for, I understand that they're part of the problem. I went to therapy to be able to say that.
You've come a long way.
I understand that they're part of the problem, but I just don't see, I get that Bernie Sanders is part of the solution. I don't get how Trump is part of the solution.
So how do you wrap your head around it? If you're fighting against Donald Trump, let's say you're in the Rubio campaign or the Cruz campaign, whatever. They're not even going after Trump. They're not spending money against Trump. What do they do? What do they do? What do they do with this guy?
Well, so part of the reason that they don't, because I went after Trump, I called him a buffoon.
How'd that go?
Yeah, well, so I wasn't on Twitter, so it went great. I know what he said. I was totally happy about it.
You're a strong woman.
I wasn't, but then I looked and I was like, oh my God, what a dick, you know. But I think social media is part of his power because people sort of live and die by their Twitter feed.
Yeah.
You know, and we all have little kids, like we're trying to raise them to be strong people. There's no like grown-up politician strong enough to withstand the withering attacks from Trump, and that's part of the problem. I mean, this is sort of the first presidential campaign being waged in the era of Twitter, and people are too afraid of his venom. But you know, when they look around, he's the last guy standing. I think it's going to call into question sort of the lack of courage in the political establishment and in the media. And listen, We have him on the show that we work on all the time.
Yeah.
You know, if he's going to be the nominee, you need him to come back and talk to you about stuff, like where he gets his advice on our show, which is terrifying because we're on our show. But
he needs you.
Well, no, I mean, we don't know anything, you know? So if he's watching us, I wouldn't tell anybody. But it is sort of like this cultural collision with a political crisis. So you've got politicians who now, and politicians aren't thick-skinned people, right? I mean, they're not, you know, like I used to break the news. I remember telling George Bush once about his poll numbers after his first debate against John Kerry. I said, you know, you went down 13 points. He says, well, you did a terrible job spinning the debate. I'm like, well, no, you actually did a terrible job in the debate.
Did you say that to him?
Yeah, he was cool like that.
Nicole's a true
He seems cool.
He was totally
Yeah.
cool. I mean, you guys, I'm sure, you know, I mean, I live in New York. Again, part of my therapy, I understand most of you didn't vote for him. But he was a very nice guy. And you could totally
Tell
walk
the
in.
truth.
He made fun of a reporter's glasses once. Peter walked in, and I was like, so he's blind. He was like, oh, shit. And then all the people that went in and like chest bumped him, like he thought they were weenies for being like, you were great. I walked in and I'm like, what a mess, like get the phone, you gotta apologize. So but that is not a common thing. Like politicians don't like to be told they were wrong. They don't like to be told they screwed up. And I think that part of like the Trump phenomenon is that no one confronts him, not even his opponents. I mean, who doesn't Chris Christie confront, right? Like he gets mad, he can be punitive. He never went to, I mean, he eviscerated Marco Rubio in like 20 minutes. I mean, like we really had to wipe him off the floor. Like, ooh, take him home, clean him up. And nobody, I mean, Christie could have done that to Trump, and for reasons I don't understand, he never even tried.
But that's what I don't get. So now you're Rubio or you're Ted Cruz. And it's time now,
it's
right?
Time.
If you want to win, you got to do it. But even today, Rubio's asked directly about it. He said, you know what, I'm not going to go there. He's going to say crazy things. You guys are going to react. At what point do you have to respond, or think it's over?
I mean, I think it's over. Like, I think that's honestly where we are today. Like, I think it's over. Yeah. I mean, I think they...
How you guys feeling about that?
I have a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
I feel like the Clintons hired Trump to
build
this, to build it, and then at the end he's going to be like, it's huge, I'm out. He's going
to pull the shirt and be like, Hillary for president!
Yeah, he's going to pull a mask off, and it's going to be Bill, and they're all in bed together, it's going to be done.
Like, at least that would...
Right?
Yeah, I mean, that would compute, right? You know, like, you'd be like,
I feel like this is a big mind fuck.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. And then, like, who really gets screwed? It's Bernie again.
Oh, well, poor Bernie's getting fucked either way.
Because, like, poor Bernie. So, and here's the funny thing, too, like, so you know this already. My mom and dad broke the news to me. You know, I worked for the Bush family. My parents met the Bush family. They reported that they voted for the Bush family. They now support Donald Trump. And they said, you know, I think you got fired from The View because you were mean to Donald. And I said, well, Donald doesn't, you know, like he doesn't own The View. And they said, no, he's very powerful. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my parents are otherwise like rational voters. They've been duped. And I think he's like duped. I think he projects this strength that people, you know, back to like the crisis, people hate politics. He projects this strength that has, you know, did you see The American President? There's that great scene where Michael J. Fox is like, Mr. President, people are so hungry for leadership. I've seen it too many times. That they'll crawl through the sand, you know, for it, and if they realize it's a mirage, they'll eat the sand.
Right.
I think Donald Trump is the sand, and people are eating it.
That's fascinating.
It's depressing, right? Sorry, drink.
So let's end on a happier note. So you, as I mentioned to the audience
Kaylin,
here,
is that happy?
you were Sarah,
Okay.
So Nicolle, if you don't know, was literally the Palin handler on the 2008 campaign. They announced.
These are the clothes I bought. I'm just kidding. Is
this her outfit?
Yeah, totally. No, we had to give this back.
They announced in the room, we've chosen Sarah Palin. To which everyone in the world said, who was that? Nicolle had to learn who that was.
Yeah.
And then Nicolle was responsible for making Sarah Palin a thing.
Sorry.
Give me. I know you're going to have to cycle through about 1,000.
MSNBC now.
Give me your best Sarah Palin story.
So.
She's going through the catalog right now.
Yeah. Well, In the age of Twitter, I'm just thinking through. Okay, so, you know, I was in charge of sort of getting her ready for a convention speech. She just picked on a Friday. It was this epic, awesome secret. Secrets are totally overrated, you guys. Like, it would have been so much better if it were in all the papers. You'd be like, oh wait, you're gonna pick her. You should know a few things. Secrets now. Totally get secrets now. I leak everything. Like, no one should tell me anything. Tell me I'll get it in every paper because I wish like someone had leaked this. But it was the first, and it was actually the first secret the McCain campaign ever kept. Like, McCain's not good at secrets. So this was a terrible idea to keep her a secret, you know, because there was, you could have Googled stuff, you know, and learned that.
The Google?
Yeah, the Google, as George Bush called it. But I spent some time with her right at the beginning, and just like super basic stuff, the continents.
What?
Africa,
South America?
I mean, you're not as old as me. You do forget some, you know. Some. We're the same
age. I know. North America,
countries,
Asia,
oceans. Can you do it right now?
All of them?
Name them. I'm just kidding. But I didn't even.
That's
yeah.
Right.
But so I started talking to her, and you know, McCain liked to do a lot of interviews. So they were like, I think she should do Tim Russert. I'm like, yeah, you do? Oh, that'd be awesome if she could name the continents.
Is that really true?
That's really
continents?
true. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you ask her? Did she say anything?
Well, I mentioned a few of them, and she was like. Yeah, I mean, there were just really big gaps in her knowledge, and I didn't think interviews were a really good idea. And so I remember coming on your show and having a big fight with Jay Carney, who was, he was still a reporter.
Yeah.
Still a reporter.
He was at the time.
Right,
yeah.
Right. And then he became Obama's press secretary, so Republicans are all in therapy. But he said, you know, why won't she face reporters' questions? And I'm like, because she doesn't know the content. But I said, because you're not the boss of her, you know, but I didn't mean it, you know, because I knew what she didn't know, which was so much stuff.
There's your tweet. That's your tweet.
Listen, Smarty Pants, can you name all 7 continents?
No, because I mean, it's like no, I mean, like I forgot stuff because I felt like she was like, "You know it all, Smarty Pants, bitch," you know. So I like went about like wiping out my hard drive.
If you've ever seen the movie Game Change, you know what Nicolle went through.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nicolle Wallace.
You're the best.